This year, as everybody's being careful and maintaining COVID-19 protocols, not to make sure that we don't have any incidences coming through inning. So these are all what is going on at this point in time, basically giving a background of why the 2021 edition will be an edition like no other, seeing that we normally would have over 100,000 participants in this race. But now it's just 300. I mean, how you go from 100,000 to 300, man, that's major.
Well, that's one of the realities of our times now, and we are now getting used to seeing these kind of things. We've looked all over the world, and we see in some other sports like football, you go from 80,000 capacity crowd to just zero or almost zero. So it's something that sports is, it's one of the industries that have been affected most by the pandemic. But like you said, the organizers have taken some measures to make sure that we are COVID compliant in this event. And there are lots of measures on this. And you mentioned a few of them, removing the jamboree at the end of the race, reducing the number of runners. But there are lots of other things behind the scenes. There are mandatory testing for a lot of the volunteers working, and a list of things. So we really must give kudos to them. We're trying our best to hold the race in spite of what is happening around the world.
All right, these are the women, Otoye. We do, like we said, it's great to see how they will shape up in this particular edition. I know you're also looking for someone to knock off Sharon Cherub's course record. The beauty of it is that Meseret Dinky, 2019 women's gold medalist at the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon, made her return. She basically is one of the favorites.
Yes, and we're hoping that, barring any bad weather or anything, that they would make a course record. Not just them, but also the Nigerian runners. Because the last time, Pam, she did 2 hours 45 minutes, and I believe the national record is 2 hours 40 minutes. So she's like on course to actually break the national record if she keeps at it. So we're hoping that we see records in this marathon.
Well, the excitement continues, and Otoye is very particular about the course records. I think it just adds to her excitement of the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon. And of course, we're hoping that would also happen. Seeing some water breaker happening there with the pacer. And at some point, he will break off, and it becomes the race for the other guys.
Yes, and most especially if he's running at the pace is required of him. A lot of them are professional pacers. They know what is required of them. And to actually break, it's not a simple thing. It's quite difficult to pace because it's easier to run with a pacer, and you're expected to run about 2 minutes per kilometer. And someone like Otoye, I know that Otoye runs a lot, and she runs about 5 minutes per kilometer. So you can see that there's a big difference in the type of in the kind of speed that's expected. But from seeing from the TVs, from the pictures that are coming across to us, I'm seeing that the pacers have slowed down the race a little bit, and they are bunching up again, and that elongated line I was seeing at the beginning of the race has slowed down. We don't know if it's a tactics of conservation, but at the end of the day, it will be unfortunate if we cannot challenge. We cannot challenge our record, because that's the minimum expectation from the runners now.
Well, minimum expectation, you would say, but truly, I mean, we're looking at the pictures for the women right now, and Otoye, I have to absolutely agree with Eni on this one. Yeah. The pace is very slow.
Really slow. I was commenting on that. It's really slow. I don't believe the pacers are doing, because the pacers really have work to do. Because one of the work they have to do is to take off the psychological burden from the athletes. So you won't have to think about how you're going to pace yourself. So they just tune out and just tag along with the pacers. So if the pacers don't do their work, it's going to affect the time of the race. So they really need to be able to keep to what the plan was with their pace time for the athletes, so that they would maintain the proper time for this race.
Annie, I'm learning something new. In as much as you're getting top elite athletes, you have to get a top pacer also. Because the truth is, there's a cost record, there's a record you're aiming at, and you have to get someone who basically runs that for fun to lead the other athletes.
Yes, you must get a top-class pacer, because the job of a pacer is not just meeting milestone at a particular time. You must actually, as the word says, you must actually pace it. You can't run fast and run slow and run fast just to meet the time. You must go at a constant, regular pace, so that the athletes will follow you behind without using, like Otonya used, the mental efforts. We just go easy. So we can see that the pacer is doing quite a job. We don't have information on what pace is supposed to do and how he's doing with that. But we can see that probably the race is picking up a little bit, especially on the men's side.
So we see John Langat. John Langat is wearing bib number 6, and number 9, Emmanuel Nabi. Both from Kenya, also in pole position there. It doesn't come as a surprise. Kenya has literally dominated Access Bank Lagos City Marathon, and I'm sure they want to continue in that fashion. The men and the women, I'm sure the women cleared the whole medals in 2020 edition. It was just the men, of course, an Ethiopian coming through the Debeke Dakamo, second position, and of course Paul Waweru for the bronze medal in this one. But as it stands now, the Kenyans are in pole position.
Well, we've had other winners. We've had a French man.
It was French Kenyan. Please, it was French Kenyan.
We've had a Japanese, also, and South African also win, but it's far and few in between.
South African. No South African has won.
No, South American.
Not win. I think just come in. I think within the top 10 or so.
Yeah.
But you see, if we are going to be in that way, then we'll have to query Moses for saying a Nigerian lady was in the top 10. She's American. She's
still Nigerian.
I don't know what N is about. I really don't know what N is about here. But anyway, so we see the ladies at this point in time, and I think bib number 10, she's in the lead there. Look, I think if for anything, we have to see them pull out. I think it's Celestine Chapchira from Kenya also. Bib number 30 in place there.
In fairness, the ladies don't have a pacemaker, so it's always very difficult to expect so much of a good time from them. And most of the time, some of the ladies like to pace with the trailing male athletes, and these ones don't have a constant speed. They are constantly reducing in speed, and so it's difficult for the leading pack of the ladies. So what we actually expect is to have 2 or 3 very strong ladies competing against themselves, and that brings up a better time like they had last year, and that will give us a good time. But if it goes on the way I'm seeing, it's either going to be a very slow race or it's going to be a sprint finish.
Well, I think it'll be interesting to see what the sprint finish will look like when they get here to Eco Atlantic live here. But then the action continues. I think they're somewhere around Gagada currently, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I think they're still on the Ikorodu Road. I think that's coming down to Jibo and Tony.
It's Bagada, actually.
Oh, okay,
yes.
Really?
Remember, they're not coming through Jibo and all that stuff. That's Bagada, because I know that filling station. I buy petrol there.
Okay, I think I saw the filling station quite. So in any moment from now, the leading mill will be going on to the Third Mainland Bridge.
Third Mainland Bridge, yes.
And from there we start. That's actually where the task is, the heart, because you're running a straight road. You're not seeing a lot of sightseeing. You're seeing the water, the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, and then that's when you start seeing OLCs and you start seeing mirages of when the thirst starts getting to you. So I know that, and I can tell you from experience, because the only time I tried the marathon, that's where I stopped.
Tony, that's a very good point Annie brought here. The race is more psychological than it is physical.
That's why I said that the pacemaker has a very, very, very tough job to do, to take away that mental, that psychological part from the athlete. If not, then you see, like the Kenyans, they tend to bunch together to help each other to do this race. But then again, I hope, because this race is also an Olympic qualifier, that will also be one motivator that will spur them on.
Now, the timings for the Olympics is also must be a factor before the elite athletes at this point in time. But again, I still need to go back to that point you raised as regards the psychological aspect of this race. When you're running with a few things going around you, I don't know what that creates for you, but I'm telling you, as somebody who enjoys driving, I know you were expecting me to say wrong. Driving. When I drive, the things around, it makes it fun. But when you drive and there's literally nothing, you want to get out of there as soon as possible. How does this tell on their psyche in this race?
It tells a lot, and the truth about it that you cannot even you can't have mental flag points. Say, look, okay, let me go to the next building, let me increase my pace to the third building or something. There is nothing. All you're just seeing is it's an expanse of an ocean and a bridge. So you really cannot, it's a really, really tough mental job to do that. So while some people might not see it, I think the Lagos City Marathon is one of the most gruesome marathons we have worldwide in the world, because you have almost 15 kilometers of a long bridge, nothing but water. It's mental torture.
I like that you put it there. All right, so I think many of them are actually making a quick detour to get themselves refreshed going forward as it is. And we have the man there in the beep number 3. I think I'll get his name. Beep number 2, I beg your pardon. That is Daressa Galeta, Ethiopian. We know the battle is always between the Kenyans and the Ethiopians in this particular race. And the last time an Ethiopian came through as winners was in the 2019 edition, Sintayo Legese. Legese definitely is one man we will not forget in a while, because he also set a new course record in 2019, even though you would say that course record was also shelved, by almost 7 minutes. When Sentayo ran 2 hours, 17 minutes, 27 seconds, but, David Bamasai decided, you know what, hold my beer, let me do better here. 2 hours, 10 minutes, he did 7 minutes. That's a whole lot.
It was incredible. And if you had noticed, it was at the middle of the third mainland bridge that Bamasai decided to take the race on its own. And you can see, probably, and I don't have the preview of the knowledge of his tactics, the pacemaker wasn't doing it enough. And sometimes when you're a very good runner in top form, the pacemaker just gets too slow for you. And once in a while, you might be telling him, get up, increase the pace. But the pacemaker can only just go what he's fit enough to do. If he was much better, he would have entered for the race, the whole race himself. So if we get a slow pace, I would expect that around the 15-kilometer mark, an athlete will do what David did last year and just take the bull by the horns and decide to make it a solo race.
Who says athletes can actually take the bull by the horn and decide, you know what, I'd rather just do this my own way, because look, this pacer is just not helping my situation?
Yes, but you have to bear in mind your training. You cannot really do something that you've never really done before.
Bamasai did it.
But he's been training, and it wasn't the first time. He had extra this thing. And don't forget that you also, as well as your training, you also have to be mentally prepared. Mentally, because it takes a lot out of the body. Some of these athletes, especially at the top level, the amount of pain your body goes through that you have to endure before you reach the end. It's mental work. And you have to have training.
And another thing I think about Bamasai is that you will recall that he was not invited for the race last year. And so he came personally to come for the competition. So when they were setting the pace, he was not involved in the discussion. So normally the pace is set by the top athletes, and the organizers say, how fast do you want to go, and they arrange it. So Bamasai was not in that discussion. And so once they set that pace, I'm sure during the race he said, look, I'm not in this democratic, I'll take it by myself.
Oh, for somebody that comes when you're not invited, to
shows
show you
that he
how
was prepared.
mentally prepared he was.
I agree with you.
He was just looking for somewhere to just
because
come
it's a big
and
risk.
play.
You pay your entrance fee, you pay your tickets, you more or less pay your accommodation because you're not invited to the race. But you're very sure that the $50,000 is within your reach.
No, it's your pocket is big enough to take it.
It's a good thing you guys touch on money. I love money. Look, we have the prize money for this year quite reduced, you would say, and that has, I guess, it has a lot to do with the fact that the organizers just decided we should have this as opposed to not having it at all. Hence why it was moved from February to April, happening right now. So for first position, $30,000. A second position comes with $20,000. Third position with $15,000, all the way down to the eighth position that gets $1,000. So same amount for both men and women. That definitely will make Otonya very, very happy. It should be equal pay. We're doing the same job.
Exactly, same distance.
I hear you on that one. And I think it's absolutely very great with the organizers to still keep faith with the race and make it happen, because he could have said, look, let's just prepare ourselves and, you know, do better next year.
Before I even come out, well, $30,000 is a lot of money in any currency. So the organizers must be commended. But what are the Nigerians? Is there anything different in what the Nigerians are getting?
Well, the Nigerians, the amount is ₦1 million for the first Nigerian to breast the tape. 750,000. Second place, third place gets 500,000, and it goes all the way to eighth position that gets 50,000 naira.
I think it's impressive, like you say, that the organizers had to still put. It's a little bit reduced, and we all know that the problems in getting sponsorship during this period, and even organizing the race as a whole. So having prize money at all is something that they must be. The athletes must be happy about. The fact that a lot of athletes still came over to run shows that maybe the pandemic is hitting on the athletes too, and they need the money anyhow it goes.
Well, the action does continue here at the 6th installment of the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon. You can see the athletes right there, of course, trudging and sweating it out. At this point in time, they are on the dreaded Third Mainland Bridge, as Annie puts it. At this point, I think their psyche will be tested beyond measure. All they have around them is just water and themselves. Mohamed El Tawi from Morocco is also right there. I think we have an athlete there who is way behind at this point in time, and I'm talking about a chap called Cornelius Kibwat from Kenya. Not looking really good, but then you have to give it to Nabi, who has been in the forefront there. It's been, I mean, he's been one man we've seen with the pacer. For Mohamed El Tawi, he also just came into the frame of things, pushing very, very hard. And not forgetting Referee Maga Madesa from Ethiopia. So it's a Kenyan, Ethiopian, Moroccan situation ongoing at this point in time. So let me switch over to a good friend of mine who will be running commentary at this point in time. Very solid, of course. We are always here every year talking the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon. Ladies and gentlemen, the excellent Ralph Chidozie George.
He's going to outrun that pacer very soon.
Yeah, the pacer
And so what we're having here, Ralph Chidozie George, live here from the Co-Atlantic. And of course, this is where the athletes will end it all, you know, and we'll see who's going to win this year's edition of the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon. Welcome to a Co-Atlantic. And of course, a beautiful time we're having here in the city of Lagos. Well, apologies for, you know, the sound and of course my voice coming late on, but the athletes right now way off down there. A drink of water will just be good enough for them on the Third Mainland Bridge. That's exactly where they are, one of the longest bridges in Africa. And of course we have you know, this year's edition of the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon has undergone so many changes, you know, no thanks to the COVID-19, which of course, last time out in 2020, it held on February the 8th, just before the lockdown came in the month of March. And so the athletes are right there in front is Emmanuel Nabi, of course, Emmanuel Nabi of Kenya. And he's had one major race in his career, but then he's doing a couple of marathons in a couple of countries already. First time in the city of Lagos. And of course, Emmanuel Nabi, of course, Emmanuel Nabi, you know, still right there. The pacer is completely dropped out, and of course that's where it should be. And just about 13 elite athletes in this year's edition, and of course the pacer also. The pacer also, you know, that has gone out. Only 8 ladies involved in this year's Lagos City Marathon, Access Bank Lagos City Marathon. And of course, you can see 6 of them, you know, the leading pack, you know, and of course, all the ladies chasing it, hoping to get across and of course win the prize for this year. And there's a 42.195 kilometer race. And of course, it's the IAAF silver label at this point in time. And Efiok Odobong, of course, Olympic gold medalist, joins me on commentary. And Efiok, how you doing?
I'm very well, Ralph. It's very, very exciting and it's a good weather. We are expecting a good race. What we are seeing so far has been interesting because we have just very few athletes trying to compete within themselves. And I'm very sure this will give them more motivation that they have a greater chance of sharing the prize money.
Certainly, and of course, In front, just 1 or 2 centimeters in front right there is Celestine Chepchechir. And of course, we have the other lady, Jebkogata Helene. Both of them are from Kenya. And it's quite interesting that this lady is very few of them. It's nice to be few, chasing the big prize.
Oh, well, it is, and
but that's not what marathon is all about.
No, the more the merrier. No, most of the time, the more the merrier. But as an elite group, it probably gives them more competition because they're within themselves. They probably have left the Nigerian team ones behind, because I can see they're midway or almost midway into the third mainland bridge, and this is the time that we start separating the wheat from the chaff, so to say. And as we can see, the defending champion, I think she's running here, and she's among the elite group there. So that's Sharon Jamutai. She's basically, I think, the record holder, and that was an excellent race she ran last year. Probably she can do much better this year.
Exactly. Last year she's put up a great race at 2 hours, 31 minutes and 40 seconds, to win. But at this time in the men's race last year, that man, we were struggling to get his name. Bamasai, Tumo. He was way off, and the others were just chasing.
Yeah, but we can see even this year from the men's race, the pictures have gone up there for a while, but we can see that the leading men now have taken over they've left the pacer behind, and we can see Emmanuel Nabi, I think he's the one, Emmanuel Nabi, trying to take the bull by the horns, and he's there. But it's a 3-country race at this point in time: the Kenyan, Ethiopian, and the Moroccan.
Exactly. You talked about the pacer, and of course, I just need to say something about the pacer. His best time, in marathon, 2 hours, 29 minutes, and 33 seconds. Is that just good enough for him to be given the pacer role?
Well, he's supposed to do, I do not know what the rules were for him or the instructions to him. He's supposed to do between 15 and 20 kilometers, probably half the marathon. I don't think he's done that now, because they are about 50 minutes into the race, and we are expecting a time of about 2 hours 10, 2 hours 15 minutes, and so it's we'll see that they will be reaching halfway within the next 10-15 minutes.
We still got the young man making it in front there, talking about Emmanuel Nabi, and I need to just need to say that his best time, 2 hours, 10 minutes and 15 seconds. He ran in Beijing in 2010. That has been his best.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about that, because quite frankly, we need some faster time than that. And he ran that almost 12 years ago. So except he gets much better, with age, we are not expecting him to run anywhere close to his best at 2 minutes 10, which is, you rightly said, he ran in China some 12 years ago.
And so we're hoping he puts up something better, because at Lagos City, Access Bank Lagos City Marathon, we want the athletes to return fast time, for us to really be up there where we are.
Yeah, that's exactly. And we have seen Maurice Gachaga, I think, getting up close to him. I expect Maurice to have a stronger finish at the race than Emmanuel, but still, we can see this, and it's a little bit worrisome for me, especially when it comes to the timing, the results, is that they are still bunched up. We don't have that single file, like you rightly said. By this time last year, David had taken the race by himself.
Exactly. It didn't care what the pacer had to offer. It didn't care anything. It just took off there like a bullet shot out of the gun, and it was really tough for others to compete at that time. The ladies are here and doing their thing. You got Meseret Dinke. Of course, Meseret Dinke has a history here. Dinke, she won in 2019, and in 2020 she finished fourth, right here, the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon. And in 2019 she did 2 hours, 48 minutes and 2 seconds. 2 seconds to win. But in 2020, she was a little bit slower, because that lady that eventually won the race, Sharon Jemutai Cherop, was really, really fast. They were all together then. She broke off, and very difficult to catch at that point in time. But there you see Meseret Dinke also trying to really, give a gap, from the athletes, for the others chasing.
Yeah, this is a strong tradition on the Ethiopian women and the Ethiopian ladies at the women's race, and you can see that Meseret is trying to open up, and we can see in the women's race that there's a single file lining up now, so we can see that that's an indication that the pace is picking up.
Most definitely. That means exactly that we might just be seeing overtake, quoting fella there, but it's quite interesting that this lady Meseret Dinke, her best marathon time at 2 hours 47 minutes and 58 seconds. She has not reproduced that in her 2 appearances at the Lagos City Marathon, and maybe she might just do it this year.
Yeah, I think she'll do it. You can see from her run, I think that gap is going to increase. She's doing much better than, and she's more convenient, running, very economical, conservative. So I'm very confident that she will have a faster second part of the race than she had in the first race. And once she does that, that's excellent race planning and very good coaching. So it's evidence that now that we most likely may be seeing the 3 medalists at the women's race in the cameras now. And that's going to be Meseret, and we're seeing Desta, and coming the close third, in my opinion. It may be still too early to call, but in my opinion, that's going to be Esther Machara from Kenya coming third.
And so at this point in time, I'd like to bring the ladies, since we've seen the ladies are doing their thing right here at the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon. Let me bring another fantastic Nigerian athlete, that did it, the Olympian also. Otoye Iworima joins us on commentary as well. Otoye, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
What are your expectations this year? The ladies are trying to, quicken their pace and, of course, get us something better than we had already at the Lagos City Marathon.
Yeah, when they started, it was really slow, but now we can see that they've picked up their pace. They have a lot. They have a lot to run for. We have the Olympic qualifiers, and then we have the course record. So now that they've picked up their pace, I'm hoping that at least a lot of them can make the Olympics qualifiers.
All right, talking about the Olympic qualifiers, in a women's race, to qualify for the Olympic, you need to run, 2 hours 37 minutes flat, or the B qualification mark is 2 hours 45 minutes flat. Can these girls get this mark?
Oh, definitely. You can know that the qualifying standard, based on the results we've been having from the Lagos City marathon over the years, you see that our winners and some of our top athletes are always making that standard. So I think it's something that's very achievable, and most likely 2 or 3 of these ladies will be able to do that, Otoye.
Yes, I'm even hoping some of our Nigerian runners can actually make that mark, because I believe last year it was 2 hours 45 minutes that Nigeria, the female, used to win it. So I'm actually hoping that at least we have one Nigerian that can make the Olympic qualifiers.
Yeah, this is quite the Olympic mark. Is very, very benevolent to these athletes that they just need to be, because at 2 hours 45 minutes flat, they just have to go for it. And of course, I get that mark.
Well, in front now on the main race is Emmanuel Nabi, is still keeping his lead. He's a very impressive young man. He's just I think 37 years old, and he seems to be getting better with age. And like you rightly said, he's run his best time some 12 years ago. So he's not giving up for the younger ones at all. And we can see, like I said earlier on, slowly but steadily, the men's race is starting to thin out. So the pace is picking up.
Yeah, exactly. You see there, Refera Maga Madesa, the man from Ethiopia, right there, second. Take a quick look at his wristwatch, just to find out if they are quick enough. the gap is being closed gradually and gradually. We've not seen an athlete that has taken, the bull by the horn to break away finally.
I think, Ralph, you've been spoiled by David Bamasai last year, so you're expecting the same thing every year. And if you've been doing a lot of running, you will know that it's not really that easy to run on your own. And I would like to, Otonya does a lot of running these days, and she's been a triple jumper, but she's been doing a lot of distance running. So at this point in time, what do you think how are they feeling? They are going away almost halfway on the race.
Let's also bear in mind that the weather plays a big factor. Last year, the weather was like superb. It was really cool and the Harmattan had set in. This time around, we can see it's a little really humid. So I believe they're trying to conserve energy.
But the sun is not out yet. The sun is not out.
Yeah, there's a lot of cloud covering, but it's still humid. It's still hot as compared to last year. So we might not see the kind of time we saw last year, but let's hope that the Olympic qualifiers and maybe the course record, maybe somebody, you never know, might want to break that also.
Well, the Olympic qualifier for the men, 2 hours, 15 minutes flat, for the men. And of course, the B qualification is 2 hours, 19 minutes flat. So that's also very, very interesting. And I think these athletes, they can get it. When you look at the winning time for Tumo last in 2020, it was 2 hours, 10 minutes, 23 seconds.
Yes, I think I have to just, it's a humble pie because I was just a few minutes ago praising Mesere Dinke for her running form, conservative style, but just somehow she has slowed down from the first. She's now third and still looking back, and that's, as an athlete, once you run and you start looking back and looking at others, it's a sign of fatigue and it's a sign that you're giving up because you always have to keep up looking ahead. So I'm seeing that either Meseret is using tactics of trying to change on the lead and trying not to be the pacemaker herself, or she's basically getting very, very tired indeed.
I know in the year 2000, you didn't look back at all in Effiok when you went for it at the last leg for Nigeria, 4x400 meters relay. And of course, it was really, really fantastic race you ran there. So you know it is your field, so you're very, very...
What I'm just seeing something very nice, as you see. Meseret gave some water to Desta. They're from different countries, I think, and they're running and competing against each other, and they're sharing water. This is part of the power of sport we always talk about. That they're competing against each other, but they are show concern about the health of each other.
All right, let's see what the men they've got. It's a steal. That man, Emmanuel Nabi, who is right there. But we also see, the man in bib number 6, John Langard, also making his pace very, very interesting. And it's right now second, just behind Nabi.
Well, I think they're just a few kilometers short of the halfway mark. At this point in time, we are going to reach the half marathon mark. I expect that. So at this point in time now, we have to start seeing if there will be a faster second half of the race than there was in the first half of the race. And I think the men are still together. So at this, they'll be looking at each other and saying, look, this is a critical time of the race, and we just have to start defining our positions at this time.
Okay, I would say that the man to look out for in this race is number 9, Nabi, because he seems to still have a lot of conserved energy in his legs. He's just pacing himself right now. But I would predict that he's the one to look out for to win this race.
Mega Madisa from Ethiopia, his height may be at advantages, and he's been keeping close to the leading runner. So you might just feel he has one or two. He has a little bit extra in his tank.
And so it's still Access Bank Lagos City Marathon on a beautiful day like this in the city of Lagos. The athletes are fewer this year. Usually 100,000 athletes run the Lagos race, but this year it's just 300. And out of it, we just have about 14 or thereabout elite athletes. No athlete that is unregistered has appeared this year like Tumo did last year. None.
Well, they are all registered athletes, and because of the COVID protocols, we had to really take care of that because all the athletes we had tested had their tests and tested negative before they could compete here. So I think the organizers have done a great job. But at this point, I think we'll also have to ask that what really does the effects of the pandemic, the reduced athlete, does it have any kind of effect in the atmosphere of the whole race and the atmosphere of Lagos at the moment?
It does, because if you take a look at the streets, the roads, last time out you see, fans cheering the athletes, but they are missing this year, understandably so, as it were.
We also have to note that the COVID protocol with regards to collecting refreshment, now you don't hand anything to anybody. The athletes have to go to the table and collect their own refreshments themselves as per the COVID protocol.
The ladies won't hear of that.
But that's a little bit unfortunate because it takes away time from the athletes, and if you have about 8 to 15 refreshment points, and the athlete over the course may use about 6 to 8 of the refreshment courses, and that takes away probably a third of a second or half a second each time, or 1 to 2 seconds. So that really might, if you add it up, it might take a minute or two of their time.
And also, if you have your own drink and it's not placed in the proper place, you might have to either forgo that drink or go back, like it happened to...
it even just happened. I saw it. It happened.
Mo Farah in one race that
it happened to the Moroccan guy just now.
That's the thing.
Meseret Dinke still leading in the ladies' race. They are behind the men, but all the same. We're seeing Nabi opening up almost 20 meters or thereabout, space now between him and the chasing pack. So there's a chasing pack right now.
He was very good at collecting his water, so he did not waste too much time. So they might still catch up. He might still let them catch up because he doesn't want to break out now.
I think what he wouldn't want to have is a sprint finish, and that's what a lot of them are avoiding, because at a sprint finish, it's a lottery. It's anybody's game. And on the ladies' side, and we can see, look, like you rightly observed, Tony, I think he was very effective in getting his water, almost like a perfect baton exchange in the sprint release. Yes. But now, like we have said, Robert Kimboy is getting closer to him, and the 33-year-old seems to have something in his legs.
Well, as it's going now, maybe soonest we'll have that a single file, to tell you that the race is getting hotter than July, I should say. And so you see the chasing pack right there on your screen.
Okay, yes, we see that they have picked up their race a little bit.
So they have reduced from a pack of about 6 to 7 athletes to just 4, and so these 4 athletes, I'm sure you'll agree with me that we are seeing the 3 medalists here.
Yes.
Most definitely.
Hopefully we'll see them if their leg holds.
You have a Meseret Dinke in front, Molune Desta, just a centimeter or 2 behind, and you have at the other side there you find a Celestine Chepchirchir right there, and not forgetting
Esther Macharia.
Exactly.
And I think I've observed over the last 3 minutes or so is that Dinke seems to be running a tactical race, because
opinions about Nigeria, about Lagos, the hustle and bustle of Lagos, but all the same, those that come here, to run the race, run their races, they will take a different story back to their different countries, to their fans, also telling them what Lagos is all about. Lagos is a beautiful city. It's a mega city by all standards. So you see different attractions. The bridge you talked about, the Third Mainland Bridge, is just one of them, 15 kilometers, one of the longest bridges, if not the longest in West Africa, and one of the longest in Africa too. So that's one of them. You take a look at what Lagos has to offer in terms of skyscrapers, the scenery of Lagos, topography of Lagos, everything.
The people.
What of the people, the hospitality?
Every time the testimonials I hear when it comes to Nigerian people, they were very friendly, they are very welcoming, very inviting, very much so. So I believe that with that, people will go back with good testimonials. Then the culture here, especially in Lagos, we have a culture that you can buy into, you can wear, you can, take back with you as gifts for family and friends. So it's really, really, really something for them
That's
to enjoy.
interesting. We're seeing everything about Lagos, the past and the future. Like when you start from the National Stadium in Surulere, it gives us the history of our sporting past, and finishing in the great developing city of Eco Atlantic is telling us the future of Lagos. So while the marathon showcases all this, as we go down now and back to Emmanuel, has come back to the front of the race, and they are now thinning out to a single file. So that's another indication that the pace has picked up a bit.
Yes, and he was also indicating to the other athletes, I believe number 7, Cosmos, to pick up the race so that they probably break out from the pack.
Robert Kipkemboy right there in the orange vest, and of course the man that led a couple of meters or kilometers, Emmanuel Nabi right there. And you have the man from Morocco, Mohamed El Taloui, right there also in 3rd place at the moment, and you have Maurice Gachaga also there. So a single file, hopefully we'll have any moment from now, as we are having gradually after the front 2, the other 3 behind.
I believe they are getting ready to break out from the pack. This way you won't have so many people at the sprint finish.
Yeah, like I said earlier on, the Third Mainland Bridge is very tiring mentally. So now you've entered into a developmental area, a more cosmopolitan area of Ikoyi. They can now run faster. They're enjoying the scenery. They can put in milestones. Let's go faster from one junction to another, from one building to another. So it's much better for him. And I think Emmanuel Nabi is very good at picking water. Very quick at that. So he gains a meter or 2 each time there's a water point.
Kipkemboy was really slow. Really, really slow. And now he have to catch up. And it takes a lot of energy to do that.
Not too many. If you don't run a race, if you never ran a race, you won't understand what you just talked about. Having to lose a second or a meter, to go behind the man that is in front, and having to chase to catch up. No matter how little the chase is, it takes energy away from the runner.
Yes, it does. And sometimes it's very hard to kick-start the leg again, because those muscles are using water, they're losing vital minerals, and it's really, really taxing on the body. So if you slow down, it tends to be hard to kick-start it again.
I'm right here with Olympians, to say Otoye Warima, the lady, of course, Olympic gold medalist and Bong, right here. We call him Ene. Back to the race, and it is the man that has led, most of the part of this race, Emmanuel Nabi, the Kenyan, who ran his best time in 2010, 12 years ago. That's 2 hours, 10 minutes and 15 seconds. This is his first time in the city of Lagos running the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon. He's run a couple of marathons in a couple of countries, but only ran in one major, marathon race.
Oh yes, he's really teasing the pack, because he changes his pace. He goes very fast at the point, opens up the pace, and then he slows down. And I think it's a very tactical race from him. And he's working with his countryman Kimboy to run a little bit the tactical race.
Let's find out where the ladies are at the moment. There they are, and still in front is Meseret Dinke, the Ethiopian, making things work out for her. Right now, the athletes are approaching, that very important part of the race, still around the Koi, and headed towards Balindi, and we'll be hoping to see them here faster than what we had last time out in 2020.
Yeah, we can see gradually the ladies have dropped from 4 to 3 to now this is 2. So is Dinky going to get away, or is she going to be closely followed? I don't think it would be a very good idea for her to have a sprint finish with the Kenyan athletes, Celestine Chepchera, because those legs could come to her advantage when it comes to the sprint finish.
But you never know. It's not really always a question of how long your leg is. It's a question of how much you have left in you. So let us see.
Well, we can still see that she's still conservative. You can know a conservative athlete. You can see the movement of the hands. While they're very economical with the movement of the hands, it's they're very conservative. They don't swing too much. They breathe easy. And once you're seeing that, you'll know that, okay, at this point in time, you have a lot more in your tank. When you are struggling, you'll see them. The shoulders move and they twist and turn, and then you know that the athlete is struggling. But I think these two athletes are the best in the pack. You see Dinky trying to tell her to come to the front and take over the lead. I don't think she's ready to do that.
No, I don't.
Because that's a tactical race.
Yes.
That's very tactical. Dinky, she's very experienced on this course. She's been here twice, and of course, making her third time appearance here in Lagos. So she knows the course very, very well. And telling Celestine to come forward and take over the lead, very tactical, and of course that advice was not heeded at all.
It will be heeded, and if I was Celestine's coach, I would say just keep doing what you're doing, stay behind her. You see, the wind on the race is not coming on you.
She doesn't look like one who is going to tire out. She doesn't look like one who is going to give up her lead. Talking about Dinky.
Well, Dinky is going to risk the sprint finish if she goes at it. She should try and break out from Celestine at this time. Celestine will probably have some kind of celestial help with those long legs if they go up like that.
Back to the men now. Still got where they
no
gap at all.
Yet wanting to break out. They're keeping it really close.
Well, you may say they're keeping it close. I would say that they are being very conservative in their race, and they're running very, very tactically. And now they've been running down Kingsway Road, and they'll soon be reaching Palomar. They just passed getting through past the Great Hotel, I think the Southern Sun Hotel. They'll be getting to Ikoyi. So at this point in time, those that are experienced in this race will be smelling the finish points. They have basically about 40 minutes left to run.
Thereabouts, and of course, it's like they are not really chasing the time, but at Access Bank Lagos City Marathon, we are concerned about the time they return. But all the same, because in 2020 we had two more, taking away 7 minutes and 3 seconds, away from the previous year's record. Of course, finishing time, Sintahu Legacy's finishing time in 2019, he took away 7 minutes and 3 seconds, and two more was also 4 minutes 41 seconds faster than Abraham Kiprotis' record in 2018. So
once you see them bunch up at this stage of the race, you know that they are certainly not chasing time. This is highly tactical. They are chasing the accounts of Access Bank and prize money, and that's what they are doing. And they are taking a gamble too that they believe they are better sprinters than the others. And like I said earlier on, they've been running against each other. They know their strengths and their weaknesses. We've gone almost 2/3 of the race, and once you've reached this stage and you still have 10 athletes that could win the race, then it's not a very fast race. And somebody at this point in time should decide that, look, I can't take it no more, I'm off.
Also, they're probably taking into consideration the weather, depending on how the weather is, whether it's hot, if it's too humid. Some of them, they're not going to really run all out. They're going to pace themselves.
what do you think about the ladies now?
Well, the ladies is a two-horse race. Pardon my metaphor. But then
it's about 100 meters gap now.
It's more than 100 meters, and in Marathon Palace, that's a whole year. It's a lot of time, and so you can see Celestine is being very brilliant at all, just keeping behind Dinky. So the only thing that Dinky can probably do now is to totally stop, and allow Celestine come in front. And I don't think she's going to do that.
Who would do that? But all the same, I think really running a very, very tactical race, a very, very impressive race also. And that's exactly what she wants, how she wants the race to be.
She will have to really run a mental race now. Since Celestine was not going to pass her, she would have to be the one that's going to have to do the mental part of it.
We have to allow people to understand that running in the front is a very difficult thing, and it's advantageous. See, when you run in the front, you're fighting the wind, and there is always a seam behind you. And once someone goes behind you, they're using less effort. So it's always very good to just stay behind the front runner. So at this point in time, Dinky may not be too happy leading the race, but she can't break her stride because she has a rhythm now. But she would have loved it if Celestine will come in front and take up the pacemaking for her. But I think Celestine is too much of an experienced runner to do that.
I hope she will not try to conserve energy by reducing the speed. Since they are the only two people now in front, she might try to conserve because she's still trying to indicate for Celestine to come in front, and she has refused.
Well, let's see who is taking the bull by the horn in the men's race. And it's still right there, Emmanuel Nabi in front, closely followed by Robert Kipemboy. And you also have the man in vest number 2, Daresta Galeta, right there. But then this men are hard to separate.
As long as you have 10 men, it's anybody's race. As long as you have 10 men together, it's anybody's race. So you're giving everybody has a chance. And all the others behind that have to do is just keep up with the leading pack. Keep up with the leading pack. And it is a very dangerous tactics that someone like Emmanuel Nabi is doing, because Emmanuel Nabi is much older than most of the other runners. And with that, we feel that they may try to take their chances in the sprint finish.
When we get to that sprint finish, we'll see how it's going to be. Usually, when they get to the gate of the Co-Atlantic, it becomes a very, very tough. Robert Kipkenboy going to the side now, probably getting close to the water point. Maybe he has devised a new tactics of picking up his water.
Hopefully, he's going to do that quickly this time.
Well, yes, and then whoever knows the route very well will know that they have to get to the Lekki-Ikoyi bridge that's in the lead, and that will give us an indication on who's ready to win the race.
Well, they're not too far away from that bridge. That Nollywood bridge, I should say. So it is. So this is not it's not a tactics for water at all. I think he has devised a completely.
Yes, I think they devised a plan on how to separate themselves from the pack.
And he has also caused a bit of that single file we talked about. All others are following him behind now. Talking about Robert Kipkenboy, and right behind him is Emmanuel Nabi.
You see, the truth about it now is that the other runners, he decided to, like I said, take the bull by the horns, and the other runners have decided that they will keep up with him. Yeah. Let us keep pace. Let us stay in touch, because once you let him go, once you give a 20, 30 meter gap, then that's almost over. Maybe. So at this point in time, the tactics is just to keep in touch with him.
As you can see, they're really trying to separate themselves from the pack now. This is the time, if you want to do that, you start to separate yourself from the pack. So they're trying to do that, but they're all trying to still keep in pace. See?
Well, that's you saw earlier on one of the strugglers, or one of those that are just in the race, not for the money, not for time, just to, keep fit. That's what a marathon is all about. Some come for the money, some come for the time, and some come to enjoy themselves and, of course, keep fit.
Well, I believe they came to keep fit, like you say, Ralph, but I'm sure they will be having some kind of dreams and ambition of winning the $30,000.
Always.
Well, that runner we saw can't be dreaming of winning it at all, because
Nigerians, that is one thing you can expect for Nigerians. Once there's a prize money, they will come and try their best, even if they don't train. I remember one of the marathons we had somebody run so hard that the person was so thirsty, the person jumped over a bridge. Water.
The ladies are there again, and Dinky is still trying to call on Celestine to.
Is that a mind game?
I think it's a mind game because she's not being very friendly. They're not from the same country, and they're not going to share the prize money. So it's either A or B. They're the two obviously on the lead, and so that's first and second we're seeing there, but in what order we do not know. But I think it's a mind game. She's trying to give Celestine to be off her rhythm, and a marathon race is all about rhythm. It's all about rhythm. Once you go into a rhythm, you conserve energy.
Again, Otoye, she's always looking at her wristwatch. What does that
imply? Trying to check her pace, whether she's going too fast or going too slow. So she just does not want to burn herself out. So she's trying to maintain that pace.
And also, you will also have to know that most of them have the heart rate watches and which guides them on how fast or how slow they should go. So they're looking at that. I think the men have decided that this is the time to run. Pack. And it is Robert Kimboy that started, and then Emmanuel Nabi decided to keep up with him. And this is what they have to do.
That was the plan. That was the plan they had. As you can see, that was the plan they had. Now they really separated themselves from the pack.
The moment Kip Kimboy, went to the side and, of course, decided to move away from the pack, we also, the tactic has worked out for him, really.
Yes, that's why he separated himself. So they were all following Emmanuel. So he separated himself and picked up the pace, and then Emmanuel followed him. So he's
beginning to open up centimeters or even a couple of meters. That's about 10, 15 meters of gap already, and that's interesting for him.
It's about 50 or more meters then between.
It's opening every second.
Yes.
Well, as you can see, Kip Kimboy is 33 years old. They are about 7 or 8 years younger than Emmanuel Nabi. So I don't expect Nabi to be able to keep up with him.
But does that really matter?
Well, age always matters in the race. Once in a while, you'll have to take that into consideration that to run quite fast, you really have to. It's the younger people running. I mean, it's not a veteran event.
Yeah, exactly.
We have older people running better than younger. I know, just at least for the fun of it, we've seen older people in their 60s running better than people in their 20s.
I do not believe that.
Not for elite. Not for elite.
But at a very good marathon pace, you have them going for marathon, running full marathons.
At this point in time, we're talking about the elite athletes, and age is a big factor in elite sports.
So Robert Kipkemboy in front there, ranked at 222 in the world, with points tally of 1,188 points. And his best had been the ranking of 107, best ever, for him, for Kip Kimboy. That is the Kenyan, 33 years of age, in front right now. And of course, this is almost 100 and something meters away.
Well, if he keeps his pace, then I think
it's over.
He's good. He's good for it. But if he reduces his pace and he can let the chasing pack come up, I don't think that Robert has confidence in his sprint finish, and so he has decided now that look, it's about time. We have about 10, 15 kilometers to the end of the race. It's about time that I have to start running out.
Lagos City Marathon, Access Bank Lagos City Marathon, still unfolding here on your World of Champions Super Sport across the continent of Africa. How you doing, Africa? Lagos is on with a Lagos City, Access Bank Lagos City Marathon, and that's what it is. 2021, different kind of race for 2021.
Yeah, different kind of race due to the effects of the pandemic, and different kinds of race we are seeing in the city now. And but what will remain constant is that the winners and the best trained athletes always have a second part of the race faster than the first part. And we can see that Robert Kip Kimboy is doing that properly.
And so the ladies just one lady in front there.
Yes. Oh,
and then
they were one. Oh.
And so
I has left Celestine. She has left her. She probably got upset that Celestine wasn't cooperating and then left her. And that's like 100 meters gap.
Whoa. No, I think tactically she had to do that because she had on various occasions wanted Celestine to come to the front and take the pace, and Celestine refused to do that. And the more she did that, the more she's expending more energy than Celestine. So the best thing to do is that I'm going to spend the energy, then I need her, Celestine, to spend the energy and keep up with me. So this is a very tactical race, and like I said from the beginning, she has been running tactically, and she has been running very smoothly. I love her pacing, I love her arm movements, very lovely. It's poetry in motion.
So Will Dinke gets her second victory, twice as much at Lagos Access Bank Lagos City Marathon. And of course, your guess is as good as mine because the way it is, I do not see, any athlete, not even Celestine, can catch up. What she's saying is, catch me if you can.
Yes.
I'm running faster, faster. Yes. What about you?
Celestine needs some kind of celestial help.
Yes.
Back to the men's race. Run your race is what it is, and Robert Kipkenboy is running his race. Kipkenboy for the men, and of course Dinky for the women. They have broken away.
Yeah, I think Kipkenboy now is running up Falomo Bridge. Running up Falomo Bridge, and that's showing that he's really ready to win this race. I think he basically knows that he's done and dusted.
Just as Kipkenboy is leading, you're wondering where are the other athletes, and not just the elite athletes in this race. We have others, this is the midpoint of the race, and this athlete is just about crossing the midpoint.
Yeah, the midpoint, the half marathon, and that's done in 1 hour 35 minutes. You know that the half marathon should be running in about an hour.
So is it running a half marathon? This is a full marathon, by the way.
Well, you have to split. You have to do the split. So you have to.
So if he has to catch up with even Dinky, then he needs Usain Bolt a kind of sprint.
And like
he will run out. He will run out.
Like I said earlier, Kipkenboy is on the Hollywood Bridge, like you call it, Ralph. And I told you at this bridge you have to actually
make it Nollywood.
Yeah, the Nollywood bridge. You have to actually define your position, and that just shows he's been here before, so he knows that at this point in time, this is when you really have to run. At the end of the bridge, you have just 10 kilometers left.
10 kilometers left.
Yes. And you have Nabi trying to catch up. It will be very bad of him. He needs to catch up to be able to maintain that final sprint at the end.
He's even making it like the final sprint, as it were, because his pace is really sprint-like, trying to catch up. That's what happens when you allow the man in front to give you that kind of a gap.
Meanwhile, as we see, Dinky has taken off. Celestine is nowhere in sight. At this point in time, she's going to need some really good wings. But for the men, there's still a chance that somebody can stay. Emmanuel can still catch up.
No, there's no chance at all. Yeah, that I can tell. There's no chance. And even if he does, it's still a Kenyan. That's a race between Kenyans. So if you're going to be nationalistic here, it's Kenya for the meal and Ethiopia for the.
So we'll go to the prize money then.
For Emmanuel to catch up, even if he catches up, we have to burn out. Because the pace is going to run to catch up.
Yes, but it depends on how much fuel he has left in his legs.
As you can see, the gap is even increasing from what we saw last time. He was trying to close up, but now it's increasing again. Kipkenboy doing his thing, and of course, just across the toll gates part of that Ikoyi Bridge.
So he's going to enter into Admiralty Way in the high suburbs of Lekki. This is where you really see that you're coasting to the finish.
And so that's exactly what Robert Kipkenboy from Kenya, 33 years of age, is doing. But the lady doesn't need to continue looking back.
She doesn't need to. I don't know why she keeps doing that.
Even looking at you. Well, look at your watch to know what time you're running and how to quicken your pace the more. But this girl has run a completely different race from what she did, placing fourth in 2020.
Yes, and She probably just looking at what to keep her pace, because the watch gives you your heart rate, and when you're running, you have to keep your heart rate at a particular time. So if you're going too slow, the heart rate drops. If you're going too fast, it goes so high. So when you want to keep your pace, you will have to keep your heart rate at a particular level. And I think that's a kind of technological aid that the athletes are using, and which of course Nigerian coaches will have to imbibe in their training.
Because right now is a mental thing for her, since she's the only one, nobody in sight. So she has to now really push herself. So I believe her checking her watch is also part of her trying to, mentally psych herself to keep the normal pace and go.
And she gets a round of applause from a passerby, not out to watch the race, but just seeing how glorious she is, just striding away, and I gave her a round of applause. Really, she deserves it.
Yes, that's one of the things for the COVID restrictions. Before, you would have had, spectators trying to psych you and push you on. Now, you basically have to do the work of being an athlete and being your own spectator. So
now look at some more strugglers, just crossing the midway.
I would just say that there are some Nigerians running through. I mean, you don't call them struggle. That's halfway point of the marathon. Ralph, how many kilometers have you done?
Exactly. I was about to ask you.
Okay. Now, we'll talk about that later.
So the Athletes Union have come against you, Ralph.
We'll talk about that later. I do mine on the microphone.
It's not easy. It's not easy on the body.
I agree with you.
No, we don't mind. Ralph knows that it's not easy at all. And
I know when I do the road walk, just walk, and I do my road walk, religiously too. Keeping fit is very, very important.
That's very true, Ralph. That's very true.
But anyway, not a marathon for me. I can't do that. Not even the journalist marathon. I've not participated.
I am yet to do a full marathon because I know what it takes on the body. And before I was doing a speed event, because switching from a fast switch to slow switch, it can be really difficult.
This is Robert again, Kim Boy, and then he probably has about 8-9 kilometers left. And I will look at that and I say that in terms of the time, we give him another 29 minutes. And if we add that, that's 2 hours 9 minutes I give to him that's going to run this race. And that's from my calculation, but I mean, what do I know?
I hope he hits that, and of course they give us that time.
That's a new course record.
It will be impressive, really. I'm hoping so, and I'm hoping also that Meseret Dinke will return a very fast time this time around, because last in 2020 she did a very slow time. Not even meeting up with her winning time of 2019, where she did 2 hours 48 minutes and 2 seconds. To win in 2019, but she might just give us a better time for the women in 2021. It's been a great race she's running her race, doing fantastically well for that Ethiopian. Third time around in Lagos.
Well, yes, the third time around, you can see that she's very experienced. She knows the course roads. She knows where to pick up. She knows what to do. She knows how to pace herself along the course. So you can know that this is an experienced runner that's been coming here. You said earlier on, she's run in Lagos a lot of times. She's run 2 hours 47 minutes. She's run 2 hours 48 minutes. But mind you, those are not time that she needs. Olympic qualifiers 2 hours 45 minutes. So she really, really needs to run quite faster than that.
Well, the A time is 2 hours 37 minutes, about the B time 2 hours 45 minutes. Can she? Well, you did project for the men 2 hours 9 minutes and seconds. Tonya, what will you project for the lady?
Well, I would say she might in 2 hours 40 minutes.
2 hours 40 minutes.
Yes, and that's.
So you said she has an hour more to run.
Because you can remember that they were really slow, and now she's running on her own. It's kind of hard to pick up your pace, to pace yourself when you're on your own. So it might not be as fast
I think as the men are still running out. You can see Emmanuel Nabi trying to
catch up.
In my own opinion, that's my own opinion, I think he's just flattering to deceive, because I don't think he's going to do anything spectacular. Like you say, Ralph, what do I know?
What do you do? Because he's really closing the gap.
Yes.
Every other second. And so if Kipkem Boy was Dinke, well, he's only taking a look at his watch, but he's not looking back to see where the second place, the man that is chasing him, where he is at the moment. I think he needs to do that.
Boy has slowed down.
Yes, it's very space. Yes, Otoya, you will agree with me. It's very difficult to run at the front. You see,
yes,
it's very, very difficult. He's being paced by Emmanuel Nabi. So it's if he's not aware, there's no crowd really watching to cheer him on and tell him that someone is behind him. He probably will not know till Emmanuel gets really very close. So at this point in time, we just feel that Kipkem Boy may be conserving some energy.
And here with the water collection, we know that Emmanuel is very good at it, better than Kipkem Boy. So he has actually even caught up a lot more.
Well, really interesting that
Wow, he
Emmanuel,
has very close now.
very, very close. And it's interesting how far back he was,
Yes.
to really pace up, to catch up. He's about to catch up with Kipkembo.
It looks like Boy is gassing out.
I don't think he's going to pass. He will be very intelligent to stay
yes,
behind.
Stay behind.
If he
yes.
passes, then it's a poor tactic. Except Kim Boy is really running slowly.
As you can see, he has passed him and trying to open up a gap at the moment because, having to catch up. It was just about 100 meters.
At this point in time, Ralph, I'll tell you that is poor tactics. Because as he goes in front now, Kim Boy uses him as a pacemaker. And this is what it's going to do. If Kim Boy has anything left in his tank, then Emmanuel is a gunner.
Well, I hope he has something left in his tank.
But I think Emmanuel has confidence. You can see, I think he has confidence that he has a lot more to give for this race. So he's still my number one pick.
And now he's opening up some meters, away from Kipkembo.
I think Kim Boy didn't want to pace the race, and it's quite close. We do not know if the ladies are as close as this in any way. Not at all.
Not at all. We cannot see the brake lights of the other athletes for the lady. Celestine is nowhere to be found, not even her wings.
We're not even sure if Celestine is still in the second place.
That's true.
And so it is a one-horse race for the women. Meseret Dinka, right there in front. She's not new to the Lagos course at all. She's run it twice in 2019 and 2020, and so she knows the way. It is a round of applause for her from some people that came out to just look at what's happening. But who is there in front? That's not
that's a male
runner.
Male athlete that
she's
way off.
She's gonna.
She's gonna pass through them, and you can see that she's really running. I mean, it's impressive, and you can also know that the sponsors, Access Bank, have provided equal prize money for the male and female. And what do you think about that, Rob? Do you think that that's fair enough?
That's what the ladies have been fighting for across all sports, to have equal prize money, even in football.
It's the same distance, so why shouldn't they have the same prize money?
No, commendation must go to the Access Bank and Lagos City Marathon organizers, for giving the ladies equal monetary rewards, for it. We hope other races, other marathons across the world would also do the same, and we saw what the ladies of the U.S. soccer team have been fighting for to get equal pay. But all the same, Dinke in Lagos in the lead.
Yeah, she's now climbing the Nollywood Bridge, as you call it. So she's getting to the Lekki Ikoyi Blink Bridge. And so we go back to the men, and still Nabi has kept keeping the pace in front. And really, I think this is going to come down to a sprint.
Yeah.
But I believe, like I told you earlier on, Kip Boy didn't want to take the pace, and you can see now he's doing much better behind. It's fatigue, all going to tire. There's going to be lactic acid building up in the muscles. And we have about 5 kilometers left. And a good race in 5 kilometers, they're going to run some 15 minutes in 5 kilometers, 15, 16 minutes. And so if you look at the time, well, I'm still looking at the 2 hours, 9 minutes, 2 hours, 10 minutes.
Okay, we still hold to your 2 hours, 9 minutes, which you gave us earlier on. But you see right there, it is a safe distance, for him at the moment. He doesn't want to go too far away, as it were. But then we'll see the fight in Kipkembo, if he's got anything left in his tank to fight, and of course, go past the leading man in front there, Nabi.
I do not see the road markers, and it will be unfortunate if they don't have that, really know how much how much time or what is the distance they are remaining that's there. But most of the time they look at their watches and they know how long they've been running and they have an idea. I mean, these athletes have trained hours and hours and hours over the years and distance running and distance running. So they are very, very conscious of how far they have run and how well they are running and how badly they are doing. So they are professional athletes, and we must take it that at this point in time, there will be something in their mind that say, look, we are getting closer home.
And they're away from the famous Lekki toll gate and headed towards Ozumba Mbadiwe in Victoria Island. That's a great race for this man. It has opened up the gap. And of course, he had to fight back to close the gap, opened earlier on by Kipken Boy. And so he's opening up his own gap, and we will see what Kipken Boy has to offer.
Well, at this point in time, unfortunately, I don't think Kipken Boy is showing enough signs that he has something in his tank. But we probably will see. He probably has a sprint finish, which is dependent upon. But Emmanuel looks very good indeed.
It really looks good. Even right from the start, you could see that he had really planned his race well. He really planned his race well, and he took it. He took his pace. He did not let anybody rattle him or to do something that he had not done before. And now it's showing. So he's
really
still
showing. It's really showing. And a quick look back at, he took a look at where his chaser is. But this is where Dinke is, just past that famous bridge. And of course, Ikoyi Bridge it is, and headed towards
she's descending the bridge, so she'll soon pass the toll gate into Lekki Admiralty Way. So she's not so far away behind.
Yes, one thing to note, when I was speaking with a marathoner, especially when you're either going up a hill or coming down, funny enough, you have to actually increase your speed when you're going up because of the resistance, as opposed to when you're coming down, which was something that when I started running that I didn't think to do, because I was like, okay, if I'm going up, I'm going to slow down. But they said, no, because you're going up, you have to increase your speed because of the resistance.
It's always a difficult time, having a leeway up and a leeway down, difficult in climbing, as it is. Well, it's still the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon. This is where the lady that is placed second at the moment is, and that lady is Mulune Desta of Ethiopia.
And I think, that's just evidence we have just seen that Celestine probably must have burnt out and given up on the chase.
So it doesn't matter how long your leg is, it's what you got in your tank, to offer. So we're having Desta right there in second, but I would be surprised if she can even sight the lady in front, Dinke.
We always say that when we are giving some proba, we say it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And that just shows that in a marathon, leadership can change hands. And leadership has indeed changed hands a lot of times in the men's race, as we have seen Emmanuel Nabi just dismantling the running pack.
Creating a wider gap and almost...
Unbelievable.
Yes, it is. He was my favorite because he really looked like he knew what he was doing. He paced himself, he took his time, and he ran his race.
Yeah, so he's also, we can see the beautiful edifice of the 1004 estates as he's coming down Ozumba Mbadiwe Road. And this is Desta again. I think she's...
Dinke?
This is Dinke. Dinke leading the race. She probably has this in the back.
She had to take time to greet some of our spectators that were trying to encourage her. I expect she needs that to, push herself on to finish this race.
She just took another look behind to see if there is anybody.
There's nobody.
Close. Nobody. She can't see anybody.
Nobody.
And the lady that is chasing, this is Celestine.
That's
Celestine. This is Celestine.
So far away now.
Now in third place.
So why I'm very impressed with I think the Lagos crowd or the Lagos fans are being very knowledgeable now of the marathon. They come out, they encourage the athletes, they don't disturb them, they just give them a word of advice and a word of a cheer, they applaud them, and that's very, very good. We know when the marathon started, a lot of people were not cheering and they were coming obstructing the races, but now I think the Nigerian populace have now matured very well as marathon watchers.
And that's quite interesting. We hope as the years go by, we will have more educated fans coming out to really, really watch this race. That's when COVID-19 permitting, we're hoping that it goes away and allows the world to enjoy sport like they usually does. But it is a great time. And Nabi is still right there. What is it like? He's the most experienced, marathoner in this race, as it were. His best came in 2010. How come the staying power of this man in 2021 is there?
Well, he seems to be fatiguing now. I think fatigue is setting in, and just a little bit in the distance, I can see Kimboy trying picking up pace. We do not know how far Nabi had opened the gap, but this is just about 60, 70, 80 meters behind. We are having almost getting to the 2-hour mark. So I don't even. I think. If you permit me, Ralph, I'm going to go for 2 hours 13 minutes now.
All right, you've added 4 minutes, on it. I will still give it to you. We're hoping that it runs a faster race to come in, at that 2 minutes and 2 hours 9 minutes that you predicted earlier on.
I think Dinka has a target she's actually looking, because when she has actually increased her pace, she has a target. I believe she really has a target that she wants to achieve. So she has actually increased her pace. So
well, she may be looking for that Olympic qualification time.
Yes.
She may be because now she has increased her pace. She is now running. Her arm movement, her arm actions is excellent. It's more vigorous now. So she's actually trying to make sure that she's running against herself at the moment.
Target, yes.
So it's a time. It's her against the watch.
Which is good. Like you can see, her mental capacity is really strong. She really had a plan coming here, and she's very determined and set to actually achieve that.
I love that.
Yes.
Running against herself. It's really interesting.
As opposed to Nabi that seems to have slowed down. Maybe it's just like we said, prize money, so he's not conserving the energy. If maybe he has to get to a sprint finish.
He's got his own tactics.
Yes.
We saw him earlier in the race, go in front, stay there for minutes, and then went behind, went equal with the other athletes, and then went behind, the front runner at that time. And now he did that catch up. And now he opened it. So I don't think fatigue is what it's all about. I think it might be a tactic for him.
It's tactic, like Annie said. Sometimes when you get older, you have to even plan your race better. You have to plan it more, to suit at least your age or your sport age, to suit your body. So you plan so you know what's good for you. You don't follow the young runners that want to just take all out energy and do the race.
They said the older you go, you run less with your muscles and more with your brain, and that's what's really happening. I think he's just going up Aki Adeshola, if I'm right, and that's very soon. That means he's coming. He's actually almost at the home run.
Almost at the home run for the Kenyan Emmanuel Nabi, the athlete that has done a whole lot, kept to his game plan and all that. And so great race is running, and hoping that he will reach the finish line first before others.
Yeah, my money is still on him. In fact, more so now.
I know, it's very easy to put money on him now.
Oh, but I put money on him? No, I did that from the beginning. I did it from the beginning.
She did.
So, Ralph, are you saying that because she's the only lady here, you're trying to give some woman power?
No. She would have put her money on this lady, but she did put her money on the man. So I give it to her.
You couldn't really predict the ladies from the beginning because they were really running slow.
I put my money on What is it?
Ralph, I see you don't like to lose some money.
Not at all. Great race for Dinka, Meseret Dinka, the lady from Ethiopia. And of course, I keep talking about her best marathon time, 2 hours, 47 minutes and 58 seconds. Can she break it here?
She's probably going for a personal best. She's probably going for that. I can see that. And And she's on, I think she's actually on target to do that.
Just like Ernest said, she's running against herself.
Yes, she is. And she's doing a good job of it.
Great job of it. Quick pick of one of the water cans. Did the usual. And now a drink. And very soon she's going to drop that.
She's really trying not to slow herself down, even as she's taking that. You can see that.
Yeah, and,
Really
it's very essential now to keep hydrated because now the sun is about showing its face. And it's going to be very nice to feel. It's been a very good weather throughout, but see, once the sun comes out and it comes out from the clouds, the heat starts coming and then they start getting dehydrated. So the faster they can go earlier than that, within that, it's going to be better for them in their race results.
Lagos very humid this couple of weeks, and today is no exception. And so they will want to finish the race before the sun is completely out blazing.
Yes. But luckily, we might still have good cloud cover. There are still some thick clouds in the sky. So hopefully we get some cloud cover so that they don't get to feel the rays of the sun very much.
Well, they just passed the 2-hour mark and they have been running for 2 hours. I mean, Ralph, have you run for 2 hours before?
Oh.
No, I must confess.
Oh.
No. But I walked for more than 2 hours.
I have done it.
And I think this is Naibet, this is Aki Adeshola. So he basically has only one more road. He's going to cut off Bishop Oluwole, which is a very historic road in Lagos. Before you can see the kilometer mark. He has seen that. Probably about 2 kilometers left or 3 kilometers left to finish the race. So I think it's 2 kilometers to finish the race from where he is. So he will know that, and he will know that at this point in time, it's going to be very, very unfortunate if he should allow anybody to get closer to him.
And so more fans have lined out,
He's trying
cheering
to him. So he's
him.
looking back.
Naibet doing his thing really, really well. Less than 2 kilometers now, but this man has way of lots of kilometers to still run before catching up with Naibet, before getting to the finish line. This is one of the chaser in this race.
I looked at the time and I see a 2 kilometer mark. I think Emmanuel can break that 2 minutes 10 2 hours 10 minutes. He seems good for it if he can just have a good sprint finish.
His pace.
Maybe the athlete we saw the other time was Chepkor Kipwat, Cornelius Kipwat, but it's so far away, the Kenyan, from this man that is way off in front. And of course, should he start celebrating?
Well, it's not over till the fat lady sings. Oh, the skinny one.
Your girl is still taking a look at her wristwatch.
Yeah, she has a target.
Really great. Great race that Meseret Dinke is running here in Lagos. We did tell you that it's not her first time. Her first appearance in 2019, she won, finishing in 2 hours, 48 minutes and 2 seconds. And of course, in 2020, she finished fourth. Yeah, but this time she's very determined, just crossing the famous Lekki toll gate, and of course heading towards the Ozumbambadiwe, and then we'll be having her finishing the race in front. It's been a wonderful race she's run.
She's been very, very tactical, and she's been very, very confident. She's been very, very impressive. I think she has actually destroyed the race. She destroyed the pack, especially at the second half of the race. That's where she took over the race, and it's been impressive from her.
I think she's actually using the camera cycle as her pace to set her pace. She's actually chasing them to set that pace.
That's what happens when you run against yourself. Totally the other runners, there's no chasing pack here. The chasing pack are way off the race. They will be contented in chasing for the second, third, and other,
minor medals.
Exactly.
Emmanuel Nabi is in the Bishop Oluwole now, and that's almost at the home race, the home run, I'll say. So confidently now, I think I'll give him to Otoye that he's going to pick up this race.
Just now, that was it's a foregone conclusion. Barring anything that's going to happen, he's going to win.
So now we're looking at the time now. He's been encouraged by the Lagos fans. We're looking at the time, and we'll see how fast he can go.
Access Bank Lagos City Marathon. That's what you're watching on your World of Champion on a beautiful Saturday morning in the city of Lagos. It is a Meseret Dinka that is still there, just away from that toll gate, Lekki toll gate, and on Ozumbambadi way, headed towards the two.
I commend her spirit because
exactly.
You can see she's getting tired, but she has refused to give up. She has whenever she looks at her watch, you see her pick up the pace. So she really has a target to achieve.
The men's race still a one-horse race, as it's been for over 20 minutes. It's been a one-horse race. A quick pick of water has done it for him in this race, better than all others.
Well, he knows that that's the last water break and water point, and he's just getting through, I think getting towards Bar Beach Towers, if I'm right, and once he cuts off the curve, that's at the entrance of the Eco Atlantic, so we're going to start getting ready to see visuals of him coming to the finish.
Well, one year we had an athlete missing his way, getting to the gate here, missing his way, and of course, missed the top finish. I don't see that happening.
No, I don't see that happening, and I think it's not his first time in Lagos, so they will know very well, and I'm sure they're going to be guiding them properly on when to finish and where things is.
Yeah.
He's getting through to Mamadou Bello Junction, so he's going to get through the Co-Atlantic gates very soon, crossing the road, and so we are going to see him anytime from now.
And the lady?
And Dinka is still pushing. She is still pushing.
And she's just, she keeps
Very
increasing her pace.
Very determined.
Very determined to, get a good time here, and we'll really be happy with a great time finish here in Lagos.
Because those final kilometers, that's when the pain and the hurt enters the body. And so you really have to, find that mind over matter to push through those pains to get to that finish line.
No contest for this man. Just right there in front. And this is a man that led the race and led on Third Mainland Bridge and led to so many minutes. And of course, having to be where he is at the moment, it's really commendations to go out to him. Fantastic race he's running here, Emmanuel Nabi.
Yeah, he's almost finishing. I don't know if anybody can encourage him that he's making good time. If he can do that in about 2.5 minutes, then my prediction of 2 hours, 9 minutes might be correct after all.
Yeah.
My prediction of 2 hours, at least I think I got something right. So he's doing well, and we should encourage him that he's making good time. It's impressive because apart from some 10 minutes of the race, he really led from start to finish.
Great race for Emmanuel Nabi. Those ones there behind him are really chasing it, hoping for the best.
I was really surprised how they just came up so close.
Yes.
Yeah, Demiso Maga,
throughout the race.
Demiso Legese Gudeta of Ethiopia, just behind that's the man, Gudeta. Of course, is 21 years of age. And this is his first full marathon.
Yeah, but it now looks like it's actually going to be a sprint finish.
Yes.
Where did they come from?
That's really.
It's a good planning. They planned their race.
Well, he's very far away from them.
It's not as close as the camera angle shows. So.
But it's a good thing that
he has picked up the pace, so he probably took a sneak back to see what was happening.
Okay, this is another bikes to the side as Emmanuel is closing in on the finish line. Well, do not think that Daressa Geleta is close enough. Not even the other chaser, Demiso Legacy. Both of them not so close.
We really must commend the chasers, because this was really, he had actually destroyed the park just about a kilometer ago, and I did not know where they appeared from.
But it's really good that
making good time. He might not get the cost
Might not
record,
get it. It seems
but it's really good
slowed
time.
down at the end,
and he
but
slowed down, and he needs to pick up the pace and do some real. If not, it's really close.
it's getting closer and
Getting
closer.
closer and closer.
Any need for to say we're going to have a sprint finish?
I think
And
it's going to be.
Demiso Legacy is really
It's
picking
really going
up.
to be a sprint finish. They can all see the finish line, and they know that it's going to be very impressive if they can do that.
And so you go right there, Geleta, you got Gudeta, and you got the man in front, Naibe. Okay. I think he has picked up his pace once again. And so they're chasing back off at 2. He has opened up some gap more. Every other time he's looking back to know where they are exactly.
Looking back to know how much how much speed he needs to put into his final kilometers.
But this is the lady coming very close to Eco Atlantic at the finish line. Great race for that young lady.
Just passing the 1,004.
Mm-hmm. So thereabout, you still have about, say, 20 minutes or 25 minutes for her or thereabout, to get to the finish line to win the race. Definitely, we're not talking about who's going to win the women's race at this moment, except she breaks the leg.
So we really know the winner of the men.
Here comes Naibe now.
Running towards the end.
Faster.
He's running faster just past the commentary box, and we can all see that he's doing very well. He's probably the winner.
He is the winner.
And then
that's it. We're going to get the winner of Access Bank Lagos City Marathon 2021. And the winner is Emmanuel Nabi. Very soon we'll give you the time he has finished because we get the official time of his finish.
We'll get the official time. I was seeing about 2 hours, 14 minutes. I do not know. It's changing from what we are seeing on the screen. But we'll see. The official time will be announced very soon.
And what a race that man has run.
Very, very, very intelligent race, very mature race. And then he took his time to lead the pack. He took his time to when to conserve. And it was a lesson in marathon running for the other athletes.
Robert Kipken Boy coming in there to say congratulations.
Boy is just arriving. It's actually not the Kipken Boy. Kipken Boy is coming third position.
Okay, exactly. Thank you very much. That's a Demiso Legesa Gudeta finishing second. Of course, I come in there to give Naibe a helping hand to say, get up. You did well. Congratulations. But the Moroccan Mohamed El Talawi is coming in, closely followed behind by Cosmas Kieva. Cosmas Kieva was in Lagos in 2020 also. And there you have the athletes finishing at the moment. Great race for 2021. It's been a great one, for the athlete. The second place, Demiso Legese Gudeta of Ethiopia. You just need to give it to that Kenyan Emmanuel Nabi. How would you describe the race that Nabi has run here in Lagos?
Ralph, it was a very, very mature race, a very, very tactical race. He knew when to press the pedal, he knew where to conserve, and he knew when Kip Boy took up the leadership, he knew that he shouldn't let Kip Boy go too far. And it was a very impressive running from him, very, very impressive running.
And so back to the lady. The lady is right there. running a sore race, that's the lady we talked about, Meraset Dinka of Ethiopia. Her third time around in Lagos and hoping to win for the second time, won in 2019 and hoping to win in 2021. What a race for Dinka.
Well, Dinky knows that it's time now she's running against, and if anything is going for her, she just has to meet the Olympic qualifying standard, and I think she'll do it. I think she's having the pace to go at 2 hours, 40 minutes.
And so that's our man Moses Praise getting set to do his thing here at the Lagos City Marathon, Access Bank Lagos City Marathon. But the lady is still making her way very close to the Co-Atlantic finish line, not too far away for her right now. She's going to coast in any moment from now.
And she is still maintaining her pace.
Where she's going up Aki Adeshola, so she will turn to her right and enter Bishop Oluwole, and then when she's there, pass through the iconic Barbie Towers before she gets into the Co-Atlantic city. She's still keeping to her pace. She's still looking at her watch. She's still trying to make sure that her heart rate is on course. She's still looking at
to make her target. She has increased her pace.
Yeah, they have been training and they know at each kilometer how many minutes they should use, and this really helps them so they can run without the pacemaker.
That's really good. My money is on her actually doing a record, a personal best.
Well, it's quite impressive at this point in time because if she ran 2 hours 47 minutes before, I think she's definitely going to run better than that now.
Yes, she will.
Well, you still have that man, Refera Maga Madesa of Ethiopia, still coming in. Earlier in the race, he was at par with the winner. They were all there until the winner broke away. That he's now way behind. I wasn't looking back for the race, a long over for the winner and the second and third placed finishers. You also have right there pretty good Douglas Kimeli, another Kenyan, right there in the vest number 10. But you have those that have finished the race already. You have Maurice Gachi.
Nigerian man runs and what the first Nigerian woman runs. So we still have to keep our eagle eyes on the runners and see how well, if we have a top 10 Nigerian man, very, very doubtful at this point in time. But we'll just have to see how well the Nigerians do because we are running this sport. This is going over 5 years, and so Nigerians should be more impressive in their execution of the race now.
Exactly. Mohamed El Talawi of Morocco also finished the race there, and Dinka still coming closer and closer to Eco-Atlantic. Once she gets in, we'll be talking about her winning the race, about good time, so far for her. Maybe thereabout, she gets another, say, 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and she'll get the Olympic qualifying time.
Yeah, and that just to show that also that the men made the Olympic qualifying time by virtue of the unofficial results we have seen. And that's a feather on their cap and something that's been very impressive for them.
Meseret Dinka, we're just patiently waiting for her to come finish.
Yes, she's clapping for her all the way because it's really going.
Yeah, she still has quite a little. She's entering at the Bishop Oluwole now, so she still has about a kilometer and a half. So it's not too bad. At the rate she's going, she probably will do 2 hours 33 minutes. I think 2 hours 33 minutes from what we are seeing here.
And that won't be bad at all, for her. Because if we remember the finishing time for 2020, of course, it was by Sharon Jemutai Cherop, who did 2 hours, 31 minutes and 40 seconds. And so that's interesting. So it looks like Dinka might not, shorten that time at all.
But still, considering the weather, I would say all the times are really impressive. Because if they had the same weather they had last year, I bet you they would have broken the course record.
Well, not the same.
No, it's not.
Not the same at all. Dinka.
She isn't even slowing down at all.
At all?
Almost, she's very fatigued. You can see her hands are now no more as steady as they were. She's scattered down. And we'll tell you that form is the first casualty of fatigue when running. But she's putting all effort. What she's losing in energy, she's making up in effort. And that's what she's trying to do. She's still running against time. And probably, I want to believe that she's looking for that Olympic qualification.
No other girl in sight at all. Because she made sure of that. Made sure of that for a fantastic race. She has ran here in Lagos, third time around in the city of Lagos. The Co-Atlantic becoming a little bit windy, so she is going to have the wind up against her also when she comes in to a Co-Atlantic. You know, and the wind never friend of marathoners at all.
Well, it depends on the direction of the wind, Ralph. And behind you, the wind is your very good friend.
It's your field. You know better. So she will be hoping that the wind will be behind her, you know, and to be favorable.
But it's impressive running from her. She's totally obliterated, destroyed the field. She's totally made this race a one-person show. She's totally taken the whole, should I say, she's taken to herself the whole airtime on the women's race. So it's probably just a Dinka show we've been watching for the past 40 minutes.
Dinka show indeed. Right here at the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon 2021, a different kind of race. No thanks to COVID-19, but we wouldn't mind. The race is on. The men's race ended with the victor, and of course the victor being Emmanuel, and the second place also right there returned, and the third place. So we know all that for the men's race. We're looking out for the women. This lady here is on top of it, on top of her game, on top of the world.
Steady running her pace, very determined, has a target, and she's determined to meet that target that she has.
So that's one of the men finishers. Talking about Kiprugut, Douglas Kimeli. One of the placers, because he's not among the top 5.
But he's really feeling the effects of the race now. Dinka is still keeping her pace.
Yeah,
see the determination on her face.
She just passed the iconic Babbage Towers, and I think she will enter into the entrance to the edifice of the Co-Atlantic City. And at that point in time, she'll just have about 1 kilometer left.
Yes, and she's still increasing her pace. Very, very determined. We are really expecting good times from her. Acknowledging the fans that are spurring her on. Very needful at this end point. She's really taking her time to actually acknowledge the people that are encouraging her. And she's using that to fuel her final kilometers, which is a good thing.
Very steady race. As Sotonya said about Meseret Dinka and what a race she's running here.
Yes.
You know, having to run against yourself and no opponent in sight. You know, it's really interesting for her. So, and she has had to, you know, set her own pace, you know, go slow, go fast, as it were. Yes. It's all her race.
Which is why she took the time to really take in the encouragement that the small fans that we saw there gave to her. It's something she needed to boost herself to actually do and to keep to her target?
Well, she can see the finish line now. She probably can see in a distance that she's already there. And so she's run this race many times. She knows what it is when she gets into this windy area of the Atlantic city. So she's still looking back, but I think she should focus on looking forward. She wants to make sure that nobody will surprise her in the sprint finish. But that's impressive running from Dinky.
I think she's still assuming that somebody will come, so she's just still keeping that pace and making sure she runs to actually reach the target that she has. You can see the determination on her face.
We're determined to finish the race to win her second Access Bank Lagos City Marathon, repeating her 2019 feat. Couldn't maintain that in 2020, but she's here running a whole different race in 2021. Commendation must go to her. She's been leading the race for over an hour now, and that's really, really impressive. She has led all the way, I should say, because since she broke away from the pack around the Third Mainland Bridge that she's been on.
Yes, she's actually increased her pace so much. It looked as if she overtook the camera on the bike. That is how much determined she is to keep that pace and reach her target goal.
Gradually making her way closer and closer to getting into the Atlantic.
She's deep into Atlantic. She's getting through to the finish, I think. So she will just be present. We see her visual just in front of our camera commentary area soon.
Making good time.
Making good time, if that is indeed the official time.
Yes.
The time is very important to us. Now not far away from the finish line. What was that?
I think she went off the boundaries. She went off the boundaries.
Yeah. There was nobody there to tell her
to
what
direct
where
her
to go
properly.
to.
But anyway, good at things. She quickly
Well, she did it
found her
quickly.
way.
That she actually looked and saw where she could go. If not, that would have taken off time, shaved off time from her race.
So it's really, really a great thing for her, having to discover that she's in the wrong lane and switched quickly to the right lane where she is sighting the finish line at the moment, and her pace is gradually increasing. Any moment she will be seeing her finishing the race.
Well, she definitely at the home run now. She's finishing up strongly. That is Dinky. Dinky is just doing the best to finish.
You can see she's actually using her arms more, so she's actually increasing her pace, trying to, get those last efforts into this, her last final kilometers.
Final kilometer, final hurrah for her to win her second Access Bank Lagos City Marathon. It's of no mean feat at all for this lady from Ethiopia. And
no mean feat at all, and she's used her experience. She's been here before. She's run some time before, but now this has really shattered of what she's been running here before. She's really run the second half of her race much faster than she ran the first half, and it's really, really very impressive. Impressive running indeed.
Very impressive.
See her powering down. The arm movement has become more pronounced. She's really powering on. I think she's checked to see she wants to make that time. So she's actually doing her own personal sprint finish. She's doing her own personal, as you can see her, she's actually doing her own personal sprint finish. She's increasing her pace. She has a time and she has a target. She's running. She has a target and she wants to make sure she meets it.
Exactly, and that's what it is. Headed finish line. Fantastic race for the Ethiopian Dinke, who has done herself proud here, finishing another great race here in the city of Lagos. It's a great race that this lady has run. Of course, doing it all by herself, you know, for many, many kilometers.
That is unofficially probably her personal best. It's an unofficial, but I think she actually made her personal best.
We'll confirm that for you.
That,
Yes.
we feel that the clock may not be accurate, the on-field clock, but
Here comes Celestine Chepchirchir.
Oh, she's now in second place.
You know, she's back here, you know, to finish second. Where are the other ladies? We'll find them as they come in. But at the moment, it is Celestine Chepchirchir, and that is coming in to finish second, but still got, you know, some meters away, you know, to the finish line. And what a race it's been for her also. She was at par. She's going through, is that a wrong lane she's taking? She will need to. I know that she's really, well, there she is, coasting towards the finish line of the race.
I finally found her wings and is now picking up the pace.
Running past you now, step by seven.
Celestine.
It's a very windy time here at the
Yes.
Atlantic, and so Celestine coming in to finish second.
Hopefully the wind is at her back to give her the final push towards the finish line.
And you saw Meseret Dinke, the winner of the race, but then this lady was at par with her earlier in the race, way back, as she didn't quicken her pace enough to keep pace with her, and that's why she's coming in way behind a second position. She's yet to finish. Celestine Chepchirchir, you know, of Kenya.
Yes, I think she finally found her stride. So now she's picking up to get to that final, to finish those final meters. Getting towards the finish line, she's coming, picking the arm movements, and now stronger.
Very strong finish it will be for her. She's also running against herself in second position because the other ladies are nowhere to be found at the moment. But as they come in, you will see them right there getting into the camera shot. She still has time to look back and to see if there is any other person close to her, but none of the ladies are close at all.
Sometimes I think it's just a psychological thing to look back and see that, to make sure that nobody is coming to pass you at that point in time. Just to make sure.
Just to make sure.
Just to make sure.
And she's sure now that no one is behind her, but as you can see,
Desta is also now coming up.
Desta Mulune also there, hoping to finish third. Celestine Chepchirchir will not allow her, you know, to get past her. She's way behind.
She's now going to use her long legs to finish this last meters. Powering with the legs and with the hand.
You know, we always thought that she was going to use that long legs to,
Yes.
you know, come.
Found her wings to at least pass Desta at some point behind.
Desta way behind. And Celestine Chepchirchir. The number 30 first.
Eyes on the finish now.
Not too far away from her.
Yes.
Do not forget, she's not going to win the race because the race has been won already by Meseret Dinka. Isn't that so?
Yes, Dinka won with an impressive finish, powering to the end, having no one to compete for herself, but she did a sprint finish, very impressive. Now we have Celestine coming up, second place, powering, using her arms, using her legs, those final meters, as as she crosses, as she passes to take the second place.
Don't forget that there are Nigerians, yes. Another lady just gone past us. That lady is Celestine, just gone past us and headed towards the finish line for the second position of the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon, the women's race. The second position goes to Celestine Chepchir right there. And congratulations to her. She ran a good race. Second.
Yes, powered down. That was a good race. Now we're expecting Desta also powering down. Desta coming in to the final home straight.
Desta Mulune, best time, personal best, 2 hours, 34 minutes and 49 seconds. She ran in May 2019. But that time, I don't think she's going to keep with that time. We're over her now. She's coming in to finish third, as it were. Well, so earlier on a Nigerian finisher there. We'll get his name for you. But you still have Mulune Desta, coasting for the third position in the women's race.
She's now down the final home straight. You can see her powering with her hands and her legs. It's a race against herself for the third place. No other competitor in sight.
They have the finish line, waiting for Desta Mulune to come cross and finish third. Already we have the winner, Meseret Dinka, and second place is Celestine Chepchir, waiting for Desta Mulune. So
now powering through to the final meters of this race.
There you have her, just passing the commentary position, headed towards the finish line. The finish line waiting for her to cross to finish third at the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon. There you have her, Celestine Mulune Desta, beg your pardon, finishing third. After Meseret Dinka, the winner, Celestine Chepchir, the second position, and Mulune Desta, third now. She gives thanks and praises to the heavens, giving her a great race to finish third. She would have preferred the first position, but then that went to Meseret Dinka. She settles for third position.